Well, hundreds of opponents to a massive landfill earmarked for Auckland's Dome Valley marched through the centre of the city today to present a petition to Mayor Phil Goff. If a resource consent by Waste Management is accepted, it will be Auckland's largest rubbish dump. The hikoi saw local iwi walk side by side with Dome Valley residents all the way down Queen Street and into Aotea Square, but when they arrived, the mayor was nowhere to be seen. Aniwa Hurihanganui and video journalist Dan Cook were there.
It wasn't just representatives from Ngāti Whātua or the Dome Valley here today. Others travelled from as far as Kirikiri and Dargaville to show their support. The proposed rubbish dump will be situated 70 kilometres north of the city, right next to the Kaipara and Hōteo rivers. Dame Naida Glavish says the well-being of her mokopuna are on the line.
These are my greats, and I don't want them inheriting the pollution and the abuse of the environment from Tamaki Makaurau. I grew up on the shores of the Kaipara Harbour. From that Hōteo River runs a little creek called Waikiri. That's where we used to bathe when I was a child. And that runs right in front of my marae, Puatahi, and it's under threat.
Ngāti Whātua consider the Kaipara Moana an ancestral river where generations of whānau have fished for kai, bathed and swam. Dave Sawyer, who lives near the river, understands its significance, and he's overwhelmed to see so many people just as passionate as him to protect it.
Amazing. I mean, we've got iwi, all different iwis here. We've got people like myself who have made New Zealand our home. We've got European Kiwis coming through. Fantastic. It's a whole community here. I've got my 9-year-old right there. It's his future. He's going to be drinking the water that we're going to poison. It's his children that are going to drink the water that we're poisoning.
What started out as a tiny community-led Facebook page 2 years ago called Fight the Tip has become its own massive movement. And as you can probably hear behind me, demands to stop the tip aren't going away anytime soon. What are your biggest concerns about this rubbish dump being put up?
Rubbish. That's my biggest concern, is the rubbish, dumping of rubbish into our river. And then it'll flow into our harbour.
The Kaipara is one of the largest, it is the largest harbour in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's responsible for 90% of the commercial snapper catch, trevally, oysters, mullet, flounder, scallops, orca.
If there's one thing you want the Auckland Mayor to know, what would that one thing be? Guys?
To stop polluting. Stop it. Just stop.
Just find somewhere else to put it.
The Auckland Council notified a resource consent application for the dump site by Chinese-owned company Waste Management the day before the country moved into lockdown. Ngāti Manuhiri spokesperson Mikaira Muru says his people have since written submissions to the council and won't be giving up without a fight.
It's one thing to have the power in the pen of the Crown. It's another thing to have the power of the people behind you. And so what's happening today is we've got the people here today knocking on the door of the council to tell the council that, you know what, we want to protect our environment. We want to stop the paru going into the Kaipara.
That message made loud and clear today as protesters snaked their way through the city, chanting and waving signs. The only problem was when they finally arrived at Aotea Square, Phil Goff was nowhere to be seen, making a last-minute no-show. His deputy, Bill Cashmore, instead accepting the petition on his behalf.
I'm here today to accept this petition on behalf of Auckland Council. I'm here to tell you that we are listening and we hear you.
Oh, stop it! Stop it!
We know you feel strongly about this and we will hear your concerns.
Stop it!
In terms of process, and this is important, Auckland Council is required, as all councils are, by the Resource Management Act to process every application we receive from start to finish. There is nothing in the RMA that would allow this council or any other to stop this process.
Auckland Council will be accepting public submissions on the resource consent until July 31st. Mo te hōtaka o te ahiahi, ko te Aniwa Hurihanganui, aho.